Welcome in, everybody. It is March 2nd, 2021, episode 143 from Amalgamation Nation, aka the AM Nation Pod. It is Tuesday, which means Sports Talk Tuesday time. We're getting into all the topics around the sports world, including tonight, JJ Watt to the Arizona Cardinals, Illinois knocking off Michigan, Zoltan getting into it a little bit with LeBron James, and a lot more. As always, you can listen to these shows on your podcast platforms of choice, such as Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and others. Find us on Twitter and Instagram. It's at AMNationPod, and make sure you hit that follow button. On YouTube, search Amalgamation Nation and hit that sub button. For merch, it's teesprings.com/store/AMNation-Undead Red Bull. You can find a link down below on podcast services as well as on our pinned tweet at AMNationPod and down below on twitch.tv/Undead Red Bull in David's description as well. While you're there, make sure you give David a follow and a sub. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free sub a month. A month. So make sure you give it to Undead Red Bull. We're here today, Tuesday, for a sports show, and on Thursday for the gaming show right here on twitch.tv/Undead Red Bull as well. As always, I am the anime watching, booze cruising, Olivia Munza liking John Cena's following hostess with the mostest himself, Ryan Green Machine Ebner. You know what it is, what it do, what it does. And tonight, to start the show, I'll introduce each one of you. I'm going to ask you your favorite Girl Scout cookie. Introducing first, from North Carolina, Brendan B.K. Kennerly. BK, how are you, sir?
I'm good. My favorite Girl Scout cookie by far. It's not even close. Samoa's / Caramel Delights. I've eaten a box in a sitting multiple times. Like, it's easy. I usually get a case a year. Just like a case of just Samoa's, like a full Girl Scout cookie box. And it's just Samoa's in there. They're awesome.
Do you find it easy now that because you just buy them online and they just get shipped right to your house?
I've never bought them online.
Oh,
I've always gotten them like through a Girl Scout.
Oh, see, okay, so last year, right? Also, it's March 2nd. We're like hitting that 1 year mark of the pandemic, right? And right when the pandemic, when the pandemic started, I was, messing around town, and then, we had to start, couldn't do that no more. But the girl that I was talking to, she had someone that she knew that they were a Girl Scout, and I was ordering them online from that because I love Girl Scout cookies. Also, introducing today, we got Petey Tahiti Argus. What is your favorite Girl Scout cookie?
I would have to say the s'mores ones. And could be a hot take here, and not sure, but I think Girl Scout cookies are overrated. I don't think they're very good. I would rather have Chips Ahoy, in my personal opinion, but that's just how I feel. I just not a big fan.
Ryan Lucas, hello, welcome to the chat. Ryan Sandwich, you're damn right. But real quick, Pete, what the fuck is that? You don't like Girl Scout cookies?
I just don't think they're that great. I mean,
what is wrong with you?
Well, I mean,
more than Girl Scout cookies.
Wait, what? Huh?
You said Chips Ahoy?
No. I said I would rather have Chips Ahoy than any of these. I picked the s'more ones. That's the one I picked. The s'more ones, because I don't really like any of them for the most part. I'm just not a huge fan.
Huh.
I mean, I know I started the show off negative, but I mean, the rest of that, I feel good. I feel like it's been a good day.
Oh,
but
sometimes you're just way absolutely wrong.
Yeah, wow.
I'm not. I mean,
I feel
like I'm not the only one that feels this way, but I feel like some people just don't want to come out and say it.
Well, Elaine is offended, so there's that. David from twitch.tv/UndeadRebel. David, how are you, and what is your favorite Girl Scout cookie?
I'm doing great. I'm gonna eat these Nutter Butters right here.
That's cool, dude.
But you gave a nice speech to Pete. But what if I told you that I don't care to buy Girl Scout cookies neither?
Oh my god.
Right. That's right.
Oh my god.
Sorry, I don't care. I don't care if you're sitting outside my Walmart. I'm not gonna buy your Girl Scout cookies. It's just a thing. They're overpriced. But I'll tell you.
That is unbelievable. Half of this show is just flat out wrong today. My favorite Girl Scout cookies.
They're too expensive.
All right. Just don't be broke. All right. God damn it. Support the community. Support the Girl Scout troops.
Sorry, I gotta spend so much stuff on other shit in here for everyone else in Twitch. I don't have time to fucking buy Girl Scout cookies.
Junior, you don't get to say if something's too expensive or not. All right. You don't get to do this today. You don't get to do that. I'm pissed.
Well, I mean, maybe if it was a better product, like it'd be worth it. But
oh my God, you said Chips Ahoy though.
See, you're throwing slander onto their name, sir. I will not do it.
My God.
That's how I feel. That's how I feel about it.
My favorite Girl Scout cookies are Thin Mint. I fucking love them. Just like BK with the Samoas. I could eat a whole motherfucking box of those. Those are delicious. I also really like the lemon ones they've been coming out with because I love lemon everything. Yeah, those are good. Yeah, those are fucking good.
Yeah, Colleen's got a box.
Oh, yeah, those are good. Well, that was a hostile way to start this show. I did not think it was going this way. That is wild. Let's get on to the ice. Patrick Kane scores his 400th goal, this career goal this past Sunday against Detroit. Hats off to Kaner. Arguably the best American-born hockey player of all time. He is fan-fucking-tastic. It has been great to be able to watch him all these years. The Chicago Blackhawks. And the Capitals are on a 3-game win streak, and they play the Bruins tomorrow night. And the Caps now sit atop of the East. There he is, rocking the jersey. BK, very nice, rocking the OV jersey, of course. Yeah. I'm proud of you. Now, this next section is all for Frank and Junior and BK and all the other soccer fans out there. And shout out to Elaine for reminding me that we had to take it to the pitch because I wouldn't have had the music ready again. I would have had to stall, but I have it ready this time. So, let's hit that music! It's time for BK to take you to the pitch.
Taking us to the pitch here. Arsenal advanced to the round of 16 in the Europa League the other day with a thrilling comeback win over Benfica. It was a really awesome game to watch. I was kind of watching it while doing work a little bit, but Arsenal was down 2-1 with just 20 minutes left in the game. Ended up scoring 2 goals to win it. And they needed those 2 goals to actually advance with the whole away goal situation like that. So they are into the round of 16. They will be facing Olympiacos in the next round. That game's actually going to be here on March 11th at 3 o'clock BK time. So if anyone wants to watch that, it'll probably just be me and Frank. The other EPL teams that are in the Europa League, Man U and Tottenham both advanced, so they're in the round of 16 as well, facing AC Milan and Dynamo Zagreb, respectively. Leicester City unfortunately crashed out of the Europa League, falling to Slavia Prague the other day. Now on to the Champions League. That's kind of like the Europa League's like the NIT. The Champions League is like the actual NCAA tournament, just to kind of compare it for y'all out there. The Champions League just finished up the round of 16 just the other week. Liverpool was facing is up. Or actually, they finished the first leg of the round of 16. Sorry, they have the second leg starting up next week. Liverpool faces RB Leipzig. They're up 2-0 going into the second game. Man City go up against Borussia Mönchengladbach. They are also up 2-0. And then to round out the last English team in there, Chelsea will face Atletico Madrid, and they are also up with a 1-0 lead in their Champions League so far. So all the EPL teams doing pretty well so far. So, hats off to them. Continue trending upward. Also came back the other day against Leicester City in actual EPL action. They got down early with an early goal from Leicester in the 6th minute. Ended up coming back to win 3-1. That's great. Unfortunately, Arsenal still sit at 10th in the league table. Wolves had a rough week. They tied against Newcastle the other day, 1-1, and then unfortunately today they lost to Man City, who's just been on an absolute tear. They lost to Man City 4-1. Man City has not lost a single game in the last 21 matches.
I was going to say, I saw a thingy about them that 21, and they've been on a 55-8 run. That's nasty.
Yeah. And when Arsenal lost to them, they only lost by 1, so it makes me feel good. Arsenal lost 1-0, so I'll take it. And then while we're on the subject here of Wolves of Ryan's team, Adame Traore, he's Spanish international for them. He recently had a shoulder injury, and he's a super fast guy. Like he's the fastest guy on the pitch every time. And so what the medical staff came up with is they actually rub him down his shoulders with baby oil. So it's harder for defenders to grab his arm, and so because they would grab his arm and kind of pull him back, and it would be a penalty. But they put the baby oil there so they wouldn't hurt his shoulder and kind of pop it out and all that good stuff. So it does have a medical reason behind it. Is it ingenious by the medical staff, or is it cheating?
It's kind of weird. It's kind of, to me, like it's still kind of like you're eating a substance, so it's kind of like cheating. But understanding, I guess, so that it avoids when they grab his arm, so it avoids a penalty, right? When they grab his arm.
Yeah. So when they grab his arm, like they're like, all right, we're gonna take the penalty. Like we'll take the free kick, whatever it may be, and sometimes they'll get a card, sometimes they won't.
Well, see, in that regard, then maybe it's okay. Maybe it's okay.
Yeah.
Do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
Help him out.
Yeah. What about you two jokers down there?
I mean, personally, I think, if it's legal, like, why not use it? As long as it's not like, at least it's not like, like in baseball, like you're taking steroids, like obviously that's, that's against the rules, but it's baby oil. Like, if you can find a loophole and he's using it for his injury, like, I don't know.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
X.
Meg says it's cheating. I don't know how it could be really cheating. It's just baby oil. It's not like if it's steroid infused baby oil that gives him some special ability to run faster, then sure, but it's fucking baby oil, so I don't think it really improves you. Like I said, I guess it's only for like to stop people from grabbing you, but
Yeah.
I don't know. So what if the other person puts like some sticky stuff on his fingers or some shit, like, like to grab him so that it sticks to the baby oil? So I don't know, like some grip. So,
Like I'm thinking of Major League, or is it the Replacements when these guy looks like he's like, you look like you jerked off an elephant. Yeah.
You know what? I love the Little Giants. That's
Yes.
too.
Yeah, that one too.
So like, what if they did stuff like that, like to count like some like anti-baby oil? I don't know, repellent. I don't know, fucking baby powder. I don't know, some powder shit to where they could actually grab onto it. Because a defender's gonna do that now, right? Just to like counterbalance that.
You could like a chalk on your hand. I imagine that would help a little bit. Something that's like grainy or that will absorb the moisture. That would help. But they put it on before the game and at halftime too. So like they re-up at halftime.
Oh, if Frank said it's not cheating, they shouldn't be holding in the first place. And that players use Vapor Rub on their jerseys to breathe better. Vapor Rub is the solve for everything. That's true.
Yeah,
it is.
All right. Well, and into a little scandal today. This is this actually a bunch of this news came out yesterday, and it's been evolving as the week goes on. It's been called Barcagate by everyone out there. The Spanish police, with the help of the Financial Crimes Unit in Spain, carried out raids at 5 locations around the Catalan city related to Barcagate. Former Barca president, I'm going to say his name wrong, Josep Maria Bartomeu, ex-advisor, nope, I can't say that name. Last name is Mas Ferrer. Current CEO, Oscar Grau, and Roman Gomez Ponte, head of legal services, were all detained Monday night. So all higher-ups were detained. The club itself has been exonerated of all charges. That just came out from the judge today. The whole sting operations related to money movement around contracts and the whole legality of that. And this has been a whole year in the making. That, like, I think it was about a year ago, a radio station was like kind of starting to slowly dig into this, and so the feds got involved. The company in question is called I3 Ventures. They were overpaid on purpose to run smear campaigns against current Barca players such as Lionel Messi, Gerard Piqué, and even presidential candidates for like the club. So other people that were going to run for president of the club, this company ran smear campaigns against them, so they were less likely to be elected and everything like that. So there's a lot of sketchy stuff. So whenever you hear stuff is corrupt in America, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. This makes Joe Jones look really good, just like to be completely honest.
Yeah. That is nutty. Yeah, my lord. And the fact that it's been going on for so long, that's insane.
More will come out like next week. This is a developing story. I'll probably touch on it again next week a little bit. But it's kind of a black cloud hanging over the club right now. But honestly, fuck them. I don't really care for the Spanish soccer as much. They all fuck them. So now this is gonna be a nice semi-smooth transition here from soccer into basketball that Ryan touched on earlier. Zlatan Ibrahimovic, the famous talisman. I mean, he's even played in the U.S. He's pretty much played everywhere. He's one of the best goal scorers to ever play. Like, period. If you want to check out some of his highlights on YouTube, just type in his name. Just type in Ibra highlights. IBRA highlights. They're incredible. He's fantastic. He was out of line here. He was in a Swedish interview and told LBJ LeBron to stick to sports and stay out of politics. And so I think you have the video queued up, Ryan?
I do. I will play it right now for you.
LeBron, to go away from the court for a second, Zlatan, the soccer player, said that he believes that famous people and athletes such as yourself shouldn't use their platform to do anything other than what they're good at in their athletic endeavor. As someone who has promoted the idea of more than an athlete and trying to empower players to use their voice to speak on their communities, do you have any response to what he said?
Nah, absolutely not. I mean, because at the end of the day, I would never shut up about things that's wrong. I preach about my people, and I preach about equality, social injustice, racism, systematic voting, voter suppression, things that go on in our community. Because I was a part of my community at one point and seeing the things that was going on, and I know what's going on still, because I have a group of 300 plus kids at my school that's going through the same thing, and they need a voice. And I'm their voice. And I use my platform to continue to shed light on everything that may be going on, not only in my community but around this country and around the world. So, if there's no reason, I won't say no reason, but there's no way I will ever just stick to sports, because I understand how this platform and how powerful my voice is. And he can just ask Renee Montgomery, if I would have shut up and just dribbled. Seeing that beautiful black woman today, be a part of a group where she's part of an ownership group now with the Atlanta Dream down in Atlanta. And it's funny he say that, because I believe in 2018 he was the same guy who said when he was back in Sweden talking about the same things, because his last name wasn't a certain last name, that he felt like it was some racism going on when he was out on the pitch. Right? He did say that, right? Yeah. I thought he said that. So I speak from a very educated mind. I'm kind of the wrong guy to actually go at, because I do my homework.
Boy. LeBron brought receipts. He brought receipts for Zoltan. Yeah, this is something that I've talked about, whether it be on the sports show or on the political episodes we've done, that it bothers me a lot when they tell athletes to just shut up and play, or and anything like that, because these politicians can say whatever they want about these sports teams and these athletes. Listen, we've seen Trump come back and forth all the time about LeBron and the different NBA players and Colin Kaepernick and all sorts of shit, and put that on their platform. So I think NBA players, MLB athletes in general, especially in the United States of America, that is their job, and they have it, and they're able to speak their mind, just as we are. That's how it works. It's freedom of speech. And I could always understand to an extent if there was some type of leeway a little bit, where okay, well, because technically, if you're at your job in certain industries, you can get in trouble for speaking about it on the floor or whatever like that, because maybe they want to keep the politics out of it, but at the same time you want people to be involved. And to me, when you're someone especially like LeBron James and you have this huge platform, you should be able to use that for that.
I mean, I think the freedom of speech was a good analogy there. especially because we put a lot of these guys and gals on pedestals because they're constantly in the media and like we're following them, all that stuff like that. So like they're allowed to have an opinion. Obviously, you hope it's an educated opinion, but then that's also on you as a human being or consumer of the content to sift between the bullshit and the not bullshit and figure out who's actually smart and who's actually a dumbass. So
100%. 100%.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh, go ahead, Pete.
no, I was just gonna say, I mean, like LeBron just like dunked all over him. I mean, like this is just, I mean, this guy had no leg to stand on. I mean, like Jesus Christ. Yeah, for him to say like, oh, have athletes, stick to playing sports, that's just so stupid. I mean, LeBron does like so much off the court, for what he can do, in the Cleveland area, Akron area. It was just so stupid, and it was just, I love LeBron's comment there at the end, like, basically, you're going at the wrong person. Like, I mean, are you serious? Like, really, you're gonna try to attack me?
Yeah.
So yeah, that was just a very, very stupid comment by him, and LeBron had an epic response back.
David.
Yeah, I would agree with everyone has said. Definitely not a comment to say, and LeBron said the right comment back. So I would stay with LeBron on this one.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that he brought out what Zoltan had said back in 2018, I was like, oh, okay. All right, LeBron was ready. He had receipts. He was ready. He's like, nope. He's like, you remember what you said back then? So, we'll see. And like BK said, it is a great transition to the hardwood here on the NBA side. Oladipo rejected the Rockets' 2-year, $42 million extension. He's reportedly looking for a longer deal. Buddy Hield is actually the fastest NBA player to make 1,000 three-pointers. Nutty. Absolutely insane. I really thought it would have been Steph or somebody, but apparently it's Buddy Hield. Which shows you how the NBA has changed so much. Former Bulls great Joakim Noah is going to retire from the NBA, and he's actually retiring as a Bull, which is awesome. Can't wait till they retire his number, because they should. He was such a stud of a Bull. I'm all about it. Let's do it. Get it, Joe. The Wiz have won 7 of their last 10 games. They're on a roll. Fun fact about that, too, the Knicks have also won 7 out of their last 10 games, and that is just fucking insane. Absolutely insane. I didn't have it in here, but the Tibbs has those guys playing great. Julius Randle's like shooting like 46% from the 3, which is absolutely nuts. Derrick Rose out there doing good Derrick Rose things, helping out, playing the pure point guard positions, helped RJ Barrett out a lot as well. So the Tibbs got those boys cooking out there in New York. And the question asked here is Karl Anthony Towns the next Kevin Love and Kevin Garnett for the Wolves, aka a great player who won't be able to compete in Minnesota and will be forced to leave? BK.
I absolutely think so. And I know we were talking about people like names on the trade block last week. Like, I don't know how many people aren't talking about him. Like, I mean, he's easily a top tier center, besides power forward. And I mean, they're the worst team in the NBA. Like, I don't know why his name isn't on like more lips like right now. I guess maybe because they have like D'Angelo Russell, but yeah, it's just like I don't know. Like, I mean, if I were the Wizards, I'd be throwing something out there. I mean, doesn't hurt to make a phone call.
Yeah, 100%. David, do you find Karl Anthony Towns to follow the trend of studs in Minnesota that leave?
Yeah, I think he's following the trend almost spot on, right? I don't know if a move's gonna happen this year. They may wait a year, and probably get moved next year. I don't know his contract, but I could definitely see it happening next year.
100%. Pete, your thoughts on Anthony Towns possibly moving on from Minnesota?
Yeah, I think it's similar to Kevin Love, just because Kevin, didn't even have any winning season. I don't think looking back, I don't think they ever made the playoffs when he was there. So until he went to Cleveland, so yeah, it's more similar to that. The Kevin Garnett thing is just kind of different, just because it's KG's almost like the LeBron leaving Cleveland the first time. He just didn't have the pieces around him. They were still able to win. But yeah, it just doesn't make sense because you look at like the Timberwolves roster. There's a reason why they had the first overall pick last year. They sucked before. So, and you look at the roster and you're like, yeah, they got D'Angelo Russell, they got Towns, you got like, Anthony Edwards. It's like, I don't know, your team still stinks, and you know what it has probably a lot to do with is coaching. So, I mean, look at the Bulls, big difference this year. Ryan, you brought up the Knicks. Clearly, coaching. I mean, we talk about the NBA, we talk about how how it's like so individual and ISO, whatever. But like, it does come down to coaching too, and I think that's the thing with Minnesota. So, yeah, if I'm Karl Anthony Towns, I don't want to keep wasting my prime, especially for big guys. They're not going to have the prime that like other smaller guards might have. So yeah, if I'm Karl Anthony Towns, I want to be like, all right, what's the direction here? Like, are we like trying to actually go all in? Or are we like rebuilding because we got a chance at probably a top 3 pick this next year too? Yeah. So like, what are we actually doing? So yeah. If I were him, yeah, I'd try to probably explore my options.
I looked up his contract really quick. He's a free agent 2024. And the dude's only 24 years old, so right. I don't think Minnesota's moving on from him, at least not this year.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing, right? The NBA is so weird in that regard, where a player could just out of nowhere have a bunch of leverage. So it will be interesting to see. I do agree, like with him being so young and then the contract going on a little bit longer, it'll be interesting to see. But I did see somebody, there was a picture going around, and it was Karl Anthony Towns in a Bulls uniform, and I was like, all right, come on, don't do this to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, just don't get me all jazzed up. All right, you know what I'm saying? Maybe that's where he goes.
Chicago sports scene, I feel like just like any good player, they're like, hey, this is how we would look in a Chicago jersey.
Oh, don't wait.
That's just like.
Welcome to our
really good at Photoshop. The people in Chicago must be the best Photoshoppers on the planet.
Oh, you wait till we get to the NFL. We're gonna talk all about photoshopping in a Chicago uniform. This Sunday, which in case I didn't actually know until I was listening to Mad Dog Sports Radio earlier, and they're like, Sunday, the NBA All-Star Game. I'm like, what the fuck is it? Is it really this Sunday?
I realized it when I was updating my fantasy basketball lineup this week, and I was like, "Hey, there's no games Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Oh, it must be the All-Star break."
Tell me how I look, and I saw him playing Pete, who's undefeated, by the way, 10-0, the only undefeated team in the league. And I'm like, I have to try this week. Like, I have to pay attention every day. Like, I have to try, and I'm getting my ass beat, just absolutely
because it's a short week.
Yeah, I'm just getting absolutely rocked instantly. I'm like, okay, alrighty then, cool. Pete's just gonna beat my ass and go to 11-0. That's dope. The All-Star Game is this Sunday, but prior to tip-off, which will be at about 5:30 p.m. Central Time, they will have the 3-point shootout. That's gonna be Devin Booker, Stephen Curry, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Zach Lavine, and Donovan Mitchell. And then at halftime will be the slam dunk contest. I guess Obi Toppin they're expecting to participate. Let's see who else we got. Trailblazers guard Anthony Simmons. Cassius Stanley from the Indiana Pacers is also expected to participate. The slam dunk contest kind of sucks nowadays anyway. It's not nearly as fun. I don't enjoy it anymore. Dwayne Wade talked about it on the pre-show earlier that, stop giving out 10s to everybody. Like, stop. Make the 10s mean something. And he talked about this culture that we have instilled where it's like everybody gets a participation trophy. And he's like, we got to stop that. Like, if you want to bring some relevance back to the dunk contest, you got to really make them earn 10s and stuff like that. Not just every time someone does a dunk, it's a 10 because they dunked, because that's kind of stupid. Pete, I want to ask you here, how do you think this format's going to work out, where it's the 3-point shootout, All-Star Game, slam dunk at halftime, and then come back and finish the All-Star Game?
Well, I feel like the whole NBA is just like a dumpster fire for the entire weekend. Like, it's just weird. Like, I mean, we already have, like, you had the players playing until what? Like, what was it? Like September, October, like for the finals, and then it's like, oh, hey, play a couple months later, and guess what? Like, the guy who's basically the face of our league, LeBron, you're gonna have like what, a month and a half off? Okay, so why can't we just like take this weekend off? Like, why can't we just name the All-Stars just like how the NFL did? They named the Pro Bowlers, didn't play the game. Like, let's just do that, like, especially for the NBA, for long as their season is. Let's just cancel it. But I am jacked for the 3-point contest because Zach Lavine, calling it now, is going to win. Let's go, Zach. Slam dunk contest, could care less about it. I'm going to be cheering for Obi Toppin just because I don't know any of the other dudes that are in it. But let's go. Obi Toppin, Zach Lavine, book it.
Boom. BK, how do you feel?
Um, I mean, it just seems like they're just like wedging it in there, like they didn't know what to do with it, which is like so weird to say about the slam dunk contest because, I mean, at least me growing up, like you cared honestly more about the slam dunk contest than anything else on All Star Weekend because you know the players were taking like slack assing it half the time anyway, so like didn't really fucking matter. But you know the 3-point contest was thrilling and that was always good. But the slam dunk contest was the coup de grace. You know, it was like it was always like spectacular, and you always just have these big names, which you touched on a little bit earlier. But now, all the big names, they never want to do it. Like it has no star power, and that's how you get people to watch. Is because you know, especially with a league that's based around superstars so much, when no superstars are participating in it, why should we watch? Why should we watch? Like it's frustrating because if you have to compare it to like you know baseball and the home run derby because they're you know very similar, like the home run derby will always have big names in it. You know, come hell or high water, there will always be star power in the home run derby, but not anymore for the slam dunk contest. And it's such a weird setup to do the 3-point contest, the first half, then it's a mess. Like P2 says, it's just a dumpster fire.
David, do you agree that it is a dumpster fire?
Yeah. Instead of trying to make it a 2-day event like it used to be, they're trying to jam it all in one day. So it's gonna be one long fucking all-star extravaganza. I don't know. It's not even because you have the fucking 3-point at the beginning, then you have the game, and then you're gonna have an extended halftime because you're gonna have the slam dunk in there, and then you have the rest of the game. I don't know. Sure, cool, you know. At least props for them trying to do an all-star game, but kind of defines their whole COVID rules that they have for their teams to begin with. Oh, let's just have all these mix of players from all the teams interact with each other for all-star weekend. And then don't worry, guys, get right back out there within 5 days. We'll start playing again. Yeah, they should have just had it off. Shouldn't even had it to begin with, but they're just trying to recoup some more revenue, I guess, for the TV time. But if you think about that, why don't they keep it 2 days? Because then that's 2 days people will be showing up twice. That doesn't make it. So if that's what you're doing, then why'd you make it 1 day?
You would think. It is stupid. And the fact that, like, nobody wanted to do it. Like, nobody. LeBron was one of the... And like Pete touched on, that's your star. And he was the one who's like, why are we even fucking doing this? Like, let's just have the week off. Like, let's just take a weekend off. That's it.
Can he not say that I don't want to go to the All-Star game and just back out of it? Or is he forced to go?
You know, that's a good question. You know, like, I'm sure they would say, oh, he could sit out if he wants, but behind closed doors. You know, they're like, you're going to participate in the fucking All-Star game.
People be like, no, I'm not going to the Pro Bowl.
Right.
I do it all the time.
Right. Yeah, no one wants to go to the Pro Bowl anymore these days. But it is kind of stupid. We're just going to pack it into this one night. It's not going to make any fucking sense. Like, how are you going to expect these guys to go out here and do a 3-point contest and then immediately be like, okay, well, now I got to go play this All-Star game, okay? And then you're going to stop. You're going to have some fucking jabronis come in and do this fucking slam dunk contest. Like Pete said, Obi Toppin was the only one I fucking knew.
You know why? Because they're not in the All-Star game, so they'll be fresh. There you go.
Oh, my God. I better see some cool shit. If I don't see cool shit, I'm going to be pissed. I'd rather them, like... I don't even know. That's so stupid. Where's Felicio? Put him in there from the Bulls. Let him do a dunk. You know what I mean? If you're going to grab some Joe Schmoes. You know?
What?
No,
Dude, you know what? Because of this, I'm not even watching. I'm not even watching this. I'm not even watching All-Star Game. No. I'll watch the 3-point contest because I want my boy Zach Lavine to win.
That's
After
right.
that, turn it off. It's college basketball time. Turn it off.
Yeah, that's right. That's fucking right, baby. Woo! Let's get to some MLB news. The White Sox signed top international pitching prospects Jorge Vera from Cuba, continuing their big presence in the Cuban baseball talent market, which is pretty great. They got, he's like a 94, 96 mile per hour flamethrower. That's pretty dope. They do believe, he's the top pitching prospect, international pitching prospect. He was 14th overall, I believe. Yeah, ceiling couple years could be a top of the line starter, so that'd be really cool for the White Sox. So we'll see about that. And spring training's here, so because of that, I was sitting here today and I was like looking at the calendar, right? And I'm like, okay, gotta kind of figure out how we're gonna do this. So next Tuesday will be a regular sports show for us, right? We'll go over all the news and all the good thingamabobs and shit. But March 16th, that will be our special March Madness show, where we will break down the bracket. I was thinking about this, and we can continue to think about it off air and during the rest of the time. But the way I thought about it is, so we will have one giant AM Nation bracket where each game we have to come to a three out of four votes, whatever. If we get Dan in here, fingers crossed, that's easier because then it's an odd number and there will be no ties. Otherwise, we'll have to make sure Junior's in the chat and he has to break all ties. But we will do it.
I have a cousin in Tennessee. I'm gonna go with them.
Holy shit, Junior! I don't know what you're talking about, sir. But we will do, and that will be the show bracket. Obviously, we'll have our own brackets, and we'll obviously have to be in one of those March Madness tournament fucking things we usually do on ESPN or something. See who does better. But I do want to do an ultimate show one. But that leads me into then the following week, the March 23rd. Will be our MLB show prediction episode, where we will go down division by division, make our picks, make our wildcard picks, like we did for the NFL and the NBA and all that. But we'll do it from MLB because I tell you, it's got a little warmer here this weekend. Baseball spring training was starting, and I started to feel different about myself. I was like, "Ooh, is that the seasonal depression leaving my body, baby? Baseball's back! Let's go!" And the White Sox are ready to roll. And then we were so fucking close of getting through a show without MLB shooting themselves in the foot somehow. Either a team, a player, or something. We were so close, and BK jumped the gun. On the notes. I'm sitting there at work, and I'm on Google Docs anyway, so I'm I always pull up the notes a little bit, and I'm and I see MLB didn't shoot itself in the foot this week, which was shocking, honestly. And I go, oh, no. I got the Athletic right here. So we talked about scumbag dick pic Mickey Callaway, and all the allegations that came against him while he was with the Mets and stuff. And we said I didn't really know what was happening with Cleveland or anything like that. I know the GM from Cleveland had denied it and everything. They knew everything. Well, it doesn't seem that way. Per the Athletic here, since the first article was publicated, more women have come forward to say that Callaway made them uncomfortable by sending them inappropriate messages and or photos, making unwanted advances and more while they worked for the Indians. Additionally, in 2017, an angry husband repeatedly called the team's fan service department to complain that Callaway had sent, quote, pornographic material to his wife. Those calls were brought to the attention of Antonetti, manager Terry Francona, and general manager Mike Chernoff. The Indians spoke with Callaway about the matter. A Cleveland attorney spoke with the wife and said in a phone call that was recorded that Callaway had expressed remorse to him. The attorney added that, quote, the Indians are frickin' pissed as hell, end quote, at Callaway. They actually used the word frickin', so I wasn't just saying that. And offered to have Francona call the husband. Additionally, an MLB security official contacted the husband and told him, quote, Mickey wants us all to go away, and the husband later emailed MLB directly about Callaway. Over the past month, The Athletic has interviewed 22 people who interacted with Callaway during his years in the Indians organization, including 12 current and former employees. They say that Callaway's sexual indiscretions permeated the workplace the workplace to such an extent that it would have been difficult for top officials to not be aware of his behavior, and they pushed back against any assertion that Callaway's actions, when made public by The Athletic last month, caught team executive or MLB by surprise. Quote, I laughed out loud when I saw the quote in The Athletic's original report that said it was the worst kept secret in baseball because it was, said one Indians employee. Quote, it was the worst kept secret in the organization. Pete, as someone that lives in the land, I'll go here with you first on everything here with Dick Pick Mick.
Well, not looking good here for Cleveland. Doesn't really look good, from their standpoint here. Also doesn't help that, they were talking about how this happened during summer of 2017. Well, if we look back at the standings during that year, the Indians were the top team in the AL. So maybe that had a little bit to do with it. Let's keep this under wraps. Team's playing really well. Let's not say anything. So that was probably, something that went into it, which obviously shouldn't have been. But let's think about it. It's professional sports, okay?
Yeah.
So, yeah, this isn't good. No, this is not good, especially when you have, their team executive, Chris Antonetti, last month basically denying it. And, yeah, like you said, there's, multiple people that have said, we kind of knew about this, and it wasn't really Like it was a kept secret, but it wasn't a secret. So yes, does not look good. And then conveniently enough, this was the year after that Callaway gets a job there with the Mets. So I mean, obviously, it had a lot to do with how good the Indians were that year, and then him getting that job. But it just some of the timeline really doesn't. I mean, it makes sense to hey, let's get this guy out of here. Let's get him out of our organization. You know, it get kind of like that, especially when Callaway for years was Francona's pitching coach from 2010 to 2017. So
Right.
yeah, it's not great, and yeah, we can't. Baseball can't do it. They just can't do it. So I can't wait for next week. AKA, I don't want anything worse to happen, but something's probably gonna happen. Chris Bryant will probably test positive for steroids next week. So, and I'm just ready for it. Just ready for it. Baseball, keep crushing my soul.
I'd be upset because I'd be like, it didn't even help him. Elaine
No,
says,
it didn't.
I was gonna say the same comment. That's not even helpful.
Elaine.
No. He tested positive this year. No, that's he tests positive right
Oh,
now.
like getting ready for the
Yep.
year. Like he's like, I got to take these
Yep.
roids and hopefully it helps. I got to do
Gotta
something.
take it. Contract year, man.
Contract year. Elaine says, for the love of God, make the Dolans sell the team after all of this. Yes, of course.
True.
And then everything else they've
True
done
that.
with the team. Yes, the Dolans should definitely sell the team. David, Dick Picnic, Indians deny they know about it. Now it looks like they did know about it. Your thoughts?
Yeah, that's kind of bad. So if they did not, so originally they denied that they didn't know about it, and then found out, hey, guess what? We did this whole investigation. You did know about it.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna get some penalties. Are gonna be handed their way. They're probably gonna lose some probably international spending money for free agency.
Oh,
even though I
no.
don't think Cleveland really jumps into that too much.
So that only affects the White Sox.
Yeah, so but that's usually like one restriction that usually come on, and they may lose like a conditional draft pick or some late round draft pick. But other than that, I mean, that's like a slap on the wrist for an organization, to be honest. Sorry, they probably don't even care. So, but that's what MLB would probably hand up down, and it would be another, shocking MLB not doing anything about something. So there'll be some news we'll talk about later on down the road. So, but yeah, horrible.
Yeah, this will continue to look like Manfred's a joke. Not a good light on the Cleveland Indians organization. BK, your thoughts?
It's like a broken record at this point. Like everyone's touched upon, just the new week, new shit show. The whole thing where it looks like they really did know it the whole time. That's just that's really bad, because then that means they weren't doing anything to stop the behavior. They're almost encouraging it by not disciplining him or anything. So that's concerning, because that's like a whole. It's more than just an individual thing. That's like a club culture at that point, with the whole organization. And so then I think they have to do a lot of inward looking at that point and be like, okay, why was this? Why could this behavior happen and essentially thrive? It's super concerning, and I'm interested to see what the MLB does, because I think we've all been pretty harsh critics of Manfred not coming down hard enough on the whole Astros cheating scandal, on all the recent scandals lately, that he's been very just easy on them. So is this the time that he steps it up? I don't know, but I think people are going to be really calling for it, but they absolutely should. So it'll be interesting to see if this will be the tipping point to where he really kind of goes after him. I really want to see what happens with that.
Yeah, that will be interesting to see what baseball does moving forward. Like everybody said, we will see what happens with baseball next week. Fingers crossed. It's a slow week for baseball, but boy, oh boy, we have now gotten so lucky. Miscellaneous sports news here. Former U.S. gymnastics coach, another piece of shit, John Geddert, was found dead after being charged with human trafficking and sex crimes. He was facing 20 charges. Fuck you. That's all I want to say. Fuck you, you piece of shit. And you took the easy way out, and I hope you burn. That is basically where I'm at on on that. Former Notre Dame defensive standout Louis Nix III passed away at 29 this past weekend. I believe it was a month or so ago. He was shot outside a gas station in his hometown, and that he had been, I guess his mom had said he'd been really like staying inside and being very cautious and stuff. And I don't think they said too much more about it. I don't know if they've confirmed that the car they pulled out of that pond was his as well. But 29 years old. College basketball. Kansas Jayhawks. Rock chalky loss, not this time. They gave the Baylor Bears their first loss of the season this past Saturday, 71-58. Baylor's coming off 21 days of not playing because of COVID issues and cancellations and such. Definitely looked super rusty. And then they almost lost in overtime to West Virginia today, number 6 West Virginia, but Baylor pulled it off. The big matchup of the night was Michigan versus Illinois. Star Illinois guard Ayo Dosunmu. I cannot pronounce that right, I know, but I'm trying. Dosunmu. There it is.
Yeah.
Dosunmu has been out the last 3 games with a broken nose. He didn't play tonight. And then after tonight, they had to play Ohio State March 6th. But, Pete, before the game, before the show, Illinois took Michigan to fucking Pound Town, baby. Your thoughts on Illini?
Just took her to the woodshed. That's exactly what they did. That was like Big Ten, beautiful basketball. They were pounding it inside, playing tough defense. I mean, I think Michigan maybe had 22 points there in the first half. The team average is like 80 a game. So props to Illinois, especially like going through this tough Big Ten schedule that they already have had to go through. Like the gauntlet schedule that they have. Like impressive that they were able to come out, because you're playing against Michigan. Michigan's lost one time all year, where they had a pooper against Minnesota a few like months ago. That's their only loss. So Illinois easily could have laid down. Impressive game. Not only did you win, but you stomped them at Michigan. Props to them. I mean it's going to be like, because them and Ohio State are so close. It's like 4 or 5, whatever it is. I think after this win, they might be a guaranteed almost 1 seed now. I mean, they have a great argument right now. As long as when they go to the Big Ten tournament, if they don't lose the first game, if they at least make a run, maybe get to the semis, just because the Big Ten's stacked anyway. But what a statement win. This is probably like Illinois' biggest win since like Wake Forest. Like back when you had the flying Illini of like D. Brown, Darren Williams, Luther Head, when they just dominated Chris Paul and Wake Forest. And was it Jeff Gray? I don't know. Whatever the other guard was that Wake Forest had, that was their biggest win. This team it's so fun to watch because they have a good mixture. You got Frazier, who is the senior leader. Ayo, when he plays, he's the like superstar. You got Coffee, and then I know that Ryan loves saying his last name. Coburn. You got him inside. And they have a bunch of freshmen guys that it's a good mix that they really have. So it's a fun team to watch. I mean, it's going to be great come March to watch them and see where they go. But like, what a great win for them against a very, very good Michigan team.
Hell yeah. I was down there this week and visiting my sister with my dad. And I got a new Illini hat, got a new Illini shirt. I was like, I need it, getting ready for the tournament. I wanted to get some new stuff, new threads, and I'm pretty fucking hyped about it. This team, I watched them on Saturday at a bar down there playing Wisconsin. They almost blew that game. And I'm like, oh, man, Michigan is going to fucking beat the piss out of them on Tuesday. Because, like, to your point, Michigan's only lost once this year, and Michigan has been so good. So good. And the Illini came out and shocked me. I think they surprised a lot of people on how great they played because, like you said, it wasn't close. Like, they dominated Michigan. It's not like they got a couple breaks late in the game or something. They dominated them from the start to the end. And that's a big statement win for the Illini, getting ready to head into March Madness here. Like I said, they got one more game against Ohio State, and then it's Big Ten tourney time. Which is weird. It's going to be in Indianapolis. I think originally it's supposed to be at the United Center, but, COVID. So it's going to Indianapolis. But I'm excited, man. This team is fun. It's obviously 100% is the most fun team this line I've had in a long time, and this is going to be great. I love that they were able to get this big win without Io to show how deep this team is and how tough they are as well. Coach has got them rocking, so I'm fucking ready, baby. ILLINI. We're coming for Ohio State next, baby. The Big Ten runs through Champaign. Let's fucking go. ECU baseball took 2 out of 3 from Georgia Southern and now sit at number 19 in the polls. I know PK's excited for some college baseball. Fun fact about that, my dad, when we were down there, he's like, man, we got to come down here for a baseball game. And I was like, oh, all right, for sure. All right, check out the Illini. Check them out. Love to see it. Also, to round out, before we get to the NFL news here, Tiger Woods, recovering from that car accident he had and the surgeries and everything. So on Sunday, a lot of golfers showed their support for Tiger Woods by donning his famous Sunday red look, which is pretty cool. I was really shocked that not everybody did it. I felt like that would have been a requirement. Like, fuck it, dude. Everyone's got to wear red, because without Tiger Woods, half of you motherfuckers wouldn't be making the money that you're making. So, it is what it is. But not all of them did, but a lot of them did, which is good to see. Good to see. Supporting good old Tiger Woods. NFL news here. We've got Irv Cross, 2-time Pro Bowler, died Sunday at 81. He was the first black full-time sports analyst working for CBS. Super sad to see that. At 81 years old. Orlando Brown Jr.'s teams are exploring trade options for the right tackle, who said he wants to play left tackle, probably because he wants to get paid like a left tackle. PK?
Yeah, I mean, it's a bummer. He's a great player, and his dad played with the Ravens too. Is part of the reason why the Ravens drafted him. He had a really bad combine coming out of Oklahoma. There, fell in the draft. The Ravens snagged him honestly for a steal, and they already had Ronnie Stanley, and Ronnie Stanley's locked up long term. He's not taking that from him. But Orlando Brown, great player, been to the Pro Bowl twice, and he's been in the league for 3 years. So apparently his team is working with, they've already reached out to multiple franchises about working out a trade. So I would expect the Ravens to get at least a first-round pick back, and probably more, honestly, because, left tackles are not easy to come by, and especially because he's still on a rookie he's not expensive right now, so you will get him, you'll get him for a year or so on the cheap. It is a bummer, but it'll give the Ravens more ammunition going forward. I had in the notes earlier, I think I took them out. Maybe work out something with the Eagles to bring Zach Ertz in to run tight end look, and I'll kind of touch upon this here. I'll kind of skip ahead, so sorry. The Jameson Hensley, the beat writer for the Ravens for ESPN, saying they're not going to be pursuing a top tier wide receiver. I was talking about this with a few of my buddies when I was in Baltimore the other weekend. And it kind of makes sense from what I've been reading and hearing from the organization, is when the Ravens were really good the other year, they ran a lot of 13 personnel. So they had 1 wide receiver, they had 3 tight ends on the field. And they couldn't do that as much last year with the injury to Nick Boyle. It really set us back. I mean, we were starting Luke Wilson, who's just journeyman, not very good. And because we traded away Hayden Hurst in the offseason to the Atlanta Falcons. So I do think that the Ravens are going to be targeting tight end. So maybe we trade Orlando Brown to the Eagles, get Zach Ertz, and honestly, I would want a pick back from the Eagles. Sorry, just at that point, just because Ertz is older, and you're getting a star left tackle, so I don't care. That makes sense. Or the Ravens even going after Kyle Pitts in the draft. And Kyle Rudolph is now will be a free agent. He could make a little sense just as if he can catch the ball consistently. So I'm actually okay with the Ravens not pursuing a top tier wide receiver if they're going to be running the 13 personnel and getting back to what they did a couple years ago. I'm actually completely okay with that because they tried to do that this year, and you could tell it just did not work. So we missed Hayden Hurst this year a lot.
I think, too, with that is that I don't know what the top-tier receiver list is going to be, right? If Allen Robinson and Galladay both get tagged, which it looks like they will if they don't sign, then who's left, right, that would be available at wide receiver that we would consider a top tier at that point. So that would be interesting to see as well. Also, with Orlando Brown and left tackles being hard to come by, I am sure NBC Sports Chicago will have him photoshopped in a Bears jersey very shortly. Speaking of the Bears, Russell Wilson, right? We talked about it, like, oh my God, he's not getting fucking traded. Come on. Which, I mean, I still don't know if that happens or not, but his team stated that Wilson hasn't asked to be traded directly, but if he were to be traded, he would like to go to the Cowboys, the Raiders, the Saints, and you guessed it, the Chicago Bears. And I will tell you, the energy from Bears fans when they heard that. They fucked the other teams that were named. Didn't give a shit about those. Didn't give a shit that any of those probably made more sense than the fucking Bears. But they said the fucking Bears. And Bears Twitter said, let's fuck. Oh, we're all in, baby. Let's go. I'm part of it. I was all in. Let's go. Let's go get Russell Wilson. Give them whatever they want. Let's go get Russell Wilson, baby. And NBC Sports Chicago posted a bunch of Russell Wilson, posted memes of him, or pictures of him in a Bears uniform. Devin Hester fucking posted on Instagram Russell Wilson in a Bears uniform, in which everyone starts dissecting, like, what does this mean? It just means Devin Hester's fucking, like, wants Russell Wilson on the Bears too, dude. Every other Bears fan does too. I listened to, I think it was Josh made the point that it's kind of weird that, like, so many Bears fans were so anti giving up the farm for Deshaun Watson, who's much younger, but are like all about it for Russell Wilson. Fuck it. Sell it all. Sell the whole fucking thing for Russell Wilson, where it's like, well, I mean, at that point, I'd rather give, like, the extra draft pick or something for Watson. Like, I mean, I love Russell Wilson. I'm about it, but, like, if I can get Watson for just a little bit more, I probably would. David, Bears fan here. Your thoughts on Russell Wilson? Saying he'd like to go to the Bears as one of his options.
I feel like, NBC paid the person to be like, hey, put the Bears on there so I can write something from the next 2 weeks. We need some sports material over here. They're like, all right, we'll just throw in the Bears name just so here you go. They get a little cutback from there. No, but yeah, I wouldn't hate it, right? I'm not gonna say cool. It's not the worst thing in the world. But like reading some of those names on like the 4 teams he said, obviously the Saints, they don't have the cap, so there's no possible way they could take on his contract without giving up a lot. So that ain't happening. They would have to do more players than draft cap. That's the only way for them to be even coming close in that category. The Raiders probably could do something because they have at least a quarterback to exchange back to them, but Seattle probably wouldn't even give a shit about that. They would just want their draft picks. The Cowboys, I have no idea what the Cowboys are doing, since if this guy's still the GM, unless they actually hire a GM, they ain't gonna do shit. So that ain't happening either. And to be honest, I honestly don't think he's going to be traded. I just think it's just hearsay rumors. I think everyone in the NFL is tradable if you offer the team the right package, right? Now, if you sell the house for somebody, someone will probably agree, Now, I know Pete's shaking his head because I'm sure if someone offered the house to Rodgers, I bet you the Packers would be like, yeah. If they offered like 8 first-round draft picks to Rodgers, we would say no.
Yeah, like, I mean,
No, I mean, I'd still say no.
You are nuts.
Those are unproven commodities. I have a proven commodity. If you offer that to the Chiefs would say no.
Okay, that was going to be my
first-round draft pick from last
year.
That was going to be my thing. My thing with that was just the Chiefs. Obviously, that's one of the lone outliers there. It'd be like, obviously, no. But you are correct, David. And then a lot of situations in the NFL right now.
Everyone listen. I mean, Wilson's at that age where he's in the middle, right? He's technically
32,
getting into his prime, right? Because if you look at all these other quarterbacks, they fucking started to strive right there. Look at Rodgers and Brady and Breeze and Manning. They're destroying the league at that age still, and continued for the next almost 10 years. So it's not like it's a horrible thing. And then when you compare it to Watson, I think Wilson just has a better, I don't know, he's just proven that he could do it for X amount of years, as where Watson's only been in the league for a couple. And you're like, oh, you know what? I'll pass right now. He doesn't have a Super Bowl ring. He hasn't really done much in the playoffs to proven his value for me to trade the farm for, to where now you see Whereas Wilson has that track record where fans are like, oh yeah, he went to the Super Bowl. He's got a Super Bowl ring. You know, I've seen him play in a Super Bowl to where everyone's all like, oh, okay, cool. So maybe that's why they see it that way, to where it's like, oh, it's a better name. To be honest, another thing that I listened to, like I was watching another news podcast, like just sports stars in general, is like Houston, like they're looking to do the trade. And if the Bears are basically the number one contender because the Bears are the most vulnerable right now. They want a quarterback. So they will give up so much for it, right? So they were talking about if Houston doesn't make a trade, they're not going to find another partner that wants to trade so much value to grab this quarterback. So it's either like now or never point. Now how like they're saying, now you have another contender. So if whatever they offer to Houston, they say no. If they offer that to Seattle and they say yes, well, Houston's kind of fucked now. So not saying it's going to happen, but I'm sure the Bears have made the phone call multiple times. I'm sure more than just those 4 teams have made a phone call multiple times. I'm sure there's a lot of other teams that have made a phone call and try to lure, you know, just because he said those 4. I like how when you send it in the text though, like in the chat, like, yeah, he doesn't want to trade, but these would be the 4 teams that I would want to go to. That's basically saying, yeah, I do want to be traded. Because if you gave 4 teams, that means that you thought about it already. You've been like, sure, I'll like a trade. You know,
It's like he didn't think about it at all with the teams he listed, though. I was like, wow, he really didn't think this through. Besides the Saints, obviously, if they could pull that off, you've got Kamara and Michael Thomas down there. Those are great weapons. The Cowboys, you used to have a good offensive line. You've got Zeke. You got weapons down there. The Raiders.
Well, from the trades I've seen that Zeke is potentially in that trade package.
Oh, well then see, this is, I guess you got Tony Pollard, baby. Do what you got to do. It's just so funny to me. Like I said, like the Bears, you know, Beaky touched about it with Chicago. Like, man, we love to just Photoshop some fuckers in Chicago's jerseys.
Yeah.
And it's the truth. With the Bears, with Russell Wilson, it's just so funny to me because it's like, it's not going to happen, but I love everybody getting hyped up about it. And if it did, I'd be all in. And you know how like every time Russell Wilson ends an interview, he's like, "Go Hawks! I'm all in on this man. Go bear down." And then just walking out. I'm like, "Let's fucking go!" I'd run through a wall for that man. Then I'd be fucking hyped. BK resident Bears, you know, kind of part-time Bears fan here, honorary Bears fan. Your thoughts on Russell Wilson listing the Bears, one of his trade destinations?
It's definitely a weird thing. I think you brought up a good point where they were like, everyone's like tradable to a certain degree. And I remember Jamal Adams got super freaking pissy with the Jets because some team called the GM about Jamal, and he was like, Jamal Adams, like, you can't pick up the phone at all. You gotta hit it up. It's just like, all right, well, dude, if on the flip side, if players can say, oh, yeah, I'm not looking for a trade, but oh yeah, these are 4 players I can go, then fuck right off. Like, I feel like the players are they're getting a little too like NBA like where it's just like, look, y'all need to shut up, just shut up. And I think I was listening to ESPN radio, and I forget who was on, might have been Metcalf, who was saying, he's like, yeah, like, you don't really, he's like, imagine you're in a relationship like with your wife, and you're like, oh yeah, you know, like, I don't want a divorce, but if we got divorced, this should be the first 4 girls I would call first. Like, I was like, that's a great point. He's like, you don't do that. That's not a healthy relationship.
Right.
He's like, so I think it goes back to Wilson was frustrated, and because that offensive line is just bad. The running game's just never been there either, and so I think it's just those frustrations are coming out, and he's, you know, he is like 32. He's entering the second stage of his career, so he's like, oh, you know, how many more chances am I going to have to really compete and win a Super Bowl? And so I think that it's really coming out. But I mean, he should fire all of his team, in my opinion. They shouldn't have said that. Like, if I were the Seahawks, I would be livid. Be like, oh, seriously? Like, I don't know, like, maybe I'm being old school, but like, handle this in-house. We can talk about this. Like, we signed you to a fat contract extension that that you signed literally, it was like, what, like 2 or 3 in the morning? We did a little Twitter video with Sierra right there and like the bed, like all that shit. Like, they were clearly working after hours to get you to stay there, and you clearly accepted that contract. And now you do this bullshit? That shows you that you're not committed, in my opinion. Like, it's kind of, and I'm a big Russell Wilson fan, as we said, you know, Russell hustle, big man muscle, acting like a little bitch. All right? He needs to step up, because quarterbacks the leader in the locker room. You don't hear Rodgers saying this bullshit. When all this shit happened in the offseason with Rodgers, and he was like, like retire and leave, he shut it down. It was like a day or two later. Russell has not done this. Leadership. You want leadership out of your quarterback? They would shut this shit down. Russell's not doing that.
Yeah, Rodgers didn't have time for that shit. He's like, I'm too busy getting in the back of my teammates' trucks with a case of beer ready to fucking party, baby. I'm fucking getting married. Let's roll. Aaron Rodgers, baby. Pete, Packer fan here. Your thoughts on Russell Wilson? These are the 4 teams, including the Chicago Bears.
I think this is going to kind of be different, but I think he did think the team's out. And it's about market. Think about it.
Yeah.
Dallas. You think about Vegas. You think about Chicago. And then the Saints is just like, well, I want to play for Sean Payton. So I think that's what it came down to for him. Because he was like, I got to throw the Saints in there just to, like, throw a wrench in there. So, I'm throw the Saints. But yeah, so this is Team 3 that supposedly said this. Not Russell Wilson. So Russell's trying to, cover himself by saying it's not him. Yeah, and then BK, the point, like, on the Sports Talk Radio, that was perfect. Also, BK, I love that you said, like, let's just keep talking football, baby, here in March. But, no, for Russell Wilson to say this, like, he will not stay in Seattle. Like, you don't just say this. Like, you don't just throw teams out there. There's one thing to say, like how you want to trade or whatnot or whatever, and then you can kind of remedy that, like the Seahawks can make additions or whatever. And, like, the amount of BS that Russell, like, to even say this, like, we especially me, I gave the Packers crap for not, like, doing enough support around Rodgers. Look what the Seahawks have done. You got DK Metcalf. They got you DK Metcalf. They've gotten you weapons, like, around there. Yeah, the offensive line's been a little shaky, but, like, they got you Jamal Adams, too. I mean, to BK's point when he brought up Jamal Adams, they went all in. They got Jamal Adams. So, like, I don't understand all this frustration that's coming out from Russell. But, like, yeah, for him to say these 4 teams, like, like, I guess there's an opt-out in his contract after 2022. That's going to be explored because there's no way he's going to stay there under that. So I don't know if, like, him and Pete Carroll just do not get along and, like, no one knows about it. And it's just been under wraps for years because there's more that we just don't know about. And I think in the Houston situation, it's kind of similar too. I think Houston's, like, front office, we just don't know really how bad it is because, like, who's ever said something negative about Deshaun Watson? Like, no one's really ever said that about Deshaun. So there's a lot of underlying factors. But do I think that the Bears have a chance for Russell? Absolutely. I mean, if I were the Bears, yeah, I'd be asking for literally anything. And then you got to be thinking if you're Ryan Pace and if you're Matt Nagy, you're on your final limb, okay? Think about it. You're on your final limb. You really going to go with Big Dick Nick Foles? Are you going to go with Russell Wilson and you're going to mortgage the future? You honestly just mortgage it. Whatever. Get what you can with Russell. Try to get in the playoffs. That's what you go for. And of all those teams, they're probably going to be the most desperate of that. Because, like, with the Raiders situation, like, you still have a lot of money, like, between Carr and Marcus Mariota. The Cowboys, I guess that's a possibility, mostly because, like, for some reason, Jerry Jones hates Dak Prescott. So, like, because, like, I mean, why hasn't he been signed? But we're going to sign Zeke while he's in Cabo and, like, just, can be overweight. But we just don't care. Like, if we're the Cowboys. So, I mean, that's what the Cowboys did. And then the Saints, David touched upon it, they have no money. So there's no way they can afford Russell. So, yeah, the Bears got a chance. I mean, the Bears got a chance for Watson, too. Just go all in. And to Ryan, I think you were talking about, like, Josh's point, like, how, like, more people are in on Russell. I think David nailed it when he was just like, well, Russell's won. And it's just he's more of an established veteran player. And he'd be coming into, like, a Bears locker room that really hasn't seen winning here the last few years, and he could bring his winning culture. So I think that's kind of the main thing. And, he brings Sierra with him. So, I mean,
and I'm all in.
Deshaun doesn't offer that. So
That's true. That sold me. It has really been a full circle for me as a Bears fan. When it originally was out with Deshaun Watson, I was like, oh my god, like we're gonna sell this, we're gonna sell everything, we're still gonna suck. And at this point, I've come all the way around, and I'm like, you know what? Fuck it, dude. I'm tired of sitting here watching this Bears fucking football team just shit the bed. There's nothing exciting about them. They're just like a limp dick, dude. They're just nasty. And at this point, I want either Russell Wilson or Deshaun Watson. Let's get fucking hyped up. Let's get excited. Let's have a franchise fucking quarterback that isn't Jay goddamn Cutler. And, like, let's just do something. Like, let's just do it.
Ryan, I don't think it's too much to ask, for a top 5 quarterback either way, in the league. I don't think it's that much to ask.
That's what I'm fucking saying. At some point in your team history, you can't have one? Are you fucking shitting me? You can't have a top 10 quarterback in your team history? You fucking sorry-ass organization. They came out today, Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy. Ryan Pace said everything's on the table when it comes to the quarterback situation. Whether that be Big Dick Nick, Mitch the Titty God Trubisky, whether that's free agents, whether that's the draft. Maybe they're going to fucking sell a bunch of picks and go draft Mac Jones. Why the fuck not? Because someone said he reminds him of Brady. Jesus Christ. I don't know what the Bears are going to do. But one other possibility is Alex Smith. As he's walking away from Washington, looks like they're going to part ways. And, of course, NBC Sports Chicago immediately links the Bears to Alex Smith. And as soon as I saw it, I just thought of David. I was like, Jesus fucking Christ. Every time. If a quarterback just sniffs free agency, they're like, Bears. Bears, and that is, to everybody's point, the Bears are very desperate for a quarterback, and whatever happens, listen, if I've got to sell like 3 first-round picks and probably maybe Khalil Mack or something to get Russell Wilson, then fuck it, dude. Like, this is what we're going to do, because at the end of the day, Russell Wilson can win you a Super Bowl. Khalil Mack's probably going to win you a Super Bowl, right? Just not. So, let's fucking do it.
Bucks defense would disagree with you. But.
I mean, sure. He also had JPP and Shaq Barrett at the right time and a lot of other things. Whereas, I'm all for Russell Wilson. He's not 42 years old, and, it is what it is. But to wrap up the show, J.J. Watt made his decision per him. Source, J.J. Watt signing with the Arizona Cardinals. Posted a picture of him doing some squats in a fucking Cardinals shirt. I'm like, what a bro. Like, what an absolute fucking douche. That's fine. Definitely looks like a dude that still jams out to Fort Minor. Shout out to him. 2-year contract worth $31 million of $23 million guaranteed. He got paid. Field Yates of ESPN tweeted out, most sacks in the NFL since the start of 2012, 1 Chandler Jones at 97, 2 J.J. Watt at 95.5. The reason this was so interesting to me when I saw this is, damn, J.J. Watt was really good at the beginning of the 2012 of 2013, because after that he took a big old shit, because he only had 9 total sacks in 2019 and 2020. He's banged up, I believe, in 2019, but he was fully healthy this year and didn't do much of anything. And Chandler Jones had 1 sack last year, but that was because he only played in 5 games because of injury. Another thing with Russell Wilson, he's like, holy shit, dude, like, these defenses keep getting everybody. My line sucks. I'm getting the fuck out of here. I'm done with this. 1, it rains all the fucking time. I don't want to deal with this shit. Fuck this, dude. Ciara's pissed. She wants to go to a bigger city. Fuck this. We're out. We're out. Future's dissing us on his tracks because we live in Seattle. We're out of here. We're fucking out. Pete, your thoughts on J.J. Watt going to Zona?
I mean, props to Zona for overpaying for J.J. Watt. Congrats to them for overpaying for J.J. Watt. Congrats. Because, you ain't getting that production from 2012, okay? For that amount of money. Unbelievable. I don't know what his agent said in those meetings. Ryan, you touched upon it. He had 9 sacks the last 2 years. I get it that there was absolutely no one on Houston's defense that was worth anything last year, and I know previously they had Clowney. I get it, okay, but come on. And I know he was hurt in 2019. I get that, but as a Packer fan, I would have loved to have J.J. Watt, not for that money. My God. And I thought for J.J., I thought the whole release from the Texans, which was mutual, was oh, maybe I'm going to try to win into my career. I get it. Arizona was good, but look what division you just went into. You went into the Rams, have Matt Stafford. That defense is electric. Okay, yeah, okay, maybe Russell Wilson leaves Seattle. Okay, yeah. But then, I mean, half of the Niners team was on IR last year, and that's a team that made it to the Super Bowl 2 years ago. So, like, you go to that division and you think that, like, the one like really good year that Kyler Murray had that kind of phased out at the end, and I know Kyler was hurt. You believe in him for next 2 years? It must have been money. I mean, clearly money was a huge thing here for him. But no, that's crazy. I did not see that coming, and you know what that means is all those media reports that we see out there, bunch of BS. That's what it means because nobody had the Cardinals. Like I think
That is so.
DeAndre Hopkins like said it like initially when he got released. Oh yeah, dude, let's come back together or whatever. And then nothing was talked about after that. So I don't. I think it's so funny. We had all these reports. He's like, oh, he's looking at Buffalo. He's looking at Green Bay. He's looking at Cleveland. Yeah, was he though? Because I mean, Green Bay's having their cap situation where they got to deal with some stuff first. I think Buffalo's the same way. Cleveland did have the cap space, so Cleveland might have been legit. But props to the Browns for not paying this much for J.J. Watt. It's not worth it. It's not, especially with the cap going down. Not worth it.
Yeah, I honestly really thought it was going to be the Bills. I was like, okay, this makes a lot of sense. They can go out and pay him, and the fact that that division sucks, like they could make a move for for J.J. Watt. The Browns, I was always like, like that would be cool, but like, does he want to go against his brother twice a year? Like, I mean, obviously not directly, but just their teams. Does he feel that way? I don't know. The Packers have made a lot of sense if they can get him really cheap because of he's from there and can go play for the Packers. That's cool. But I did not see the Arizona Cardinals, and I was very, very much shocked. I was like, I think like it got posted in our group chat, and like me and Big's Gifts were just like, what? Like what is this? David, your thoughts on JJ Watt heading out west with Dan to Arizona?
It's definitely shocking because I don't think anyone thought of Arizona on that list, but they definitely did have the money. So, maybe we should have thought about that just from a money perspective, and they're trying to compete with that whole division, which I will predict right now is probably the best division in football going into next year.
As of now, with Russell Wilson staying, yes.
I think even if he leaves, it potentially still is one of the top divisions in the league, even without him.
Okay.
You look at that division, though. That division's stacked. You could make a Pro Bowl roster with that division versus the rest of the league, and they probably win. That's how dominant that division is. If you stack it, their defense alone comes out of that whole division. If you think about it, think of all the defensive players just in that division, which is wild. But yeah, him going there, maybe he wanted to be in a competitive division. I don't know. Maybe he wants to win, playing up, beating the shit out of other good teams. I don't know. Like we've touched on, like 49ers were there 2 years ago. The Rams were, I think, there 3 years ago. So they're all competing, and maybe he wants to, I don't know. We'll see. Obviously, the Arizona needed to address something, right? They needed to compete with all these other teams. They needed to buff up their defense because they tried to do the offense last year, right? I think it worked out, but they needed to upgrade their defense more. I know Jones was injured. They're still going to make more. I think they're going to add more to their defense probably in the draft. Because you see everything, and you see all the offenses you got to compete with. They need to keep stacking that defense to compete with them. Just because all the offenses just got better, I think, at least from the Rams got better. I would say the 49ers will probably get better depending on what quarterback they get. I know we touched on Alex Smith a little bit ago. There's, I guess, a potential chance that he could reunite with the 49ers as well. But I highly doubt that he'll go there. But you never know.
Jesus Christ.
I don't know if that's the one issue, right? Who the 49ers quarterback's going to be, right? Because, do they go back with Jimmy G? Do they explore new options? Obviously, they're not going to be in some Wilson category because no way Seattle trains them within the division. So maybe they're still exploring the Watson trade issue stuff. But anyways, like JJ going there, good for him. He got paid, right? Maybe he's thinking I get paid for another 2 years, and then after those 2 years, then I go somewhere to try to win a championship later in my career. Maybe trying to get that one last paycheck, a big payout, because he's not at retirement age yet. So maybe after these 2 years, he takes a pay cut and goes maybe to Green Bay or Pittsburgh or somewhere else after that.
Slightly disappointed he didn't want to go to Pittsburgh and make Subway commercials with his brothers all year round. That's pretty fucking wild. BK, your thoughts on JJ heading out with the Freakster to Arizona?
So, we talked about all these NFL insiders, and unfortunately, our insider, he hasn't been on the sports segment here. He let us down, Dan. He's supposed to have his pulse there on Arizona Nation, and he just, I don't know what it was. He just wasn't getting up with us, and he missed the beat on this one, and that's okay, but you gotta get back up, and you gotta get back on the horse. There, big guy. You gotta get your finger back on the pulse of the Arizona horse. I'm still doing a hard time, by the way. I took up JJ Watt's spear earnings. He's at 100 million, so now he's going to be at 123 after 11 or 12 years here. Also, good for him on getting paid, and I think this kind of puts the Cardinals as like, they're in the conversation to win that division, and that's to continue forward going toward the Super Bowl, because that offense is pretty much set up. They plenty of weapons for Kyler to do well. If he keeps getting better, like David said, they just need to keep making additions to the defense. You have J.J. Watt opposite Chandler Jones. That's fantastic for the defense, because you don't have, if you double team Chandler Jones, even at J.J. Watt's age, he'll beat a guy one-on-one every now and then, and so you'd rather not have that. So that, I think that's gonna free up a lot of things. It'll just be interesting, like I said, what they do in the draft, what they do with the rest of free agency here. Like what we referenced earlier, the salary cap going down. So like, what else can they maneuver? What else can they finagle? Kenyon Drake, they're probably not going to bring him back. I would assume they're probably going to start Edmonds going forward. I would imagine. So Drake leaving will probably free up some space. So it'll be interesting. Good for him. Get that paycheck while you can. So, just like I still am kind of shocked over him going to Arizona, because no one saw this coming. No one. And I think I sent y'all the meme. It was really great, from NFL memes on Twitter. It was fantastic with the SpongeBob meme where Squidward looking out and SpongeBob and Patrick playing. And in this case, Squidward was Deshaun Watson. And so then SpongeBob and Patrick were DeAndre and JJ. It's so perfect.
It was.
Exactly. They were able to get out, and now they're also at different parts of their career than Deshaun. I would 49ers. I imagine, especially after this trade that the signing that the Cardinals made, they have to be knocking down the door with the Texans to get Watson. Like, knocking down the door, because they actually have the draft picks, and they even have the quote unquote young defensive stars that the Texans supposedly want. So, and I think the 49ers have enough depth on that defense that they can be okay giving up if they have to give up someone like a Bosa. Just, I'm not saying they will, but I can see it.
Gotta be crazy. All of Bill O'Brien's Texans is going out the NFC West. My thing is, shout out to whoever KJ Watt was on Peloton, who made an account, and it said Super Bowl 56, Green Bay, Cleveland, Buffalo. And everyone's like, holy shit, this is JJ Watt. JJ Watt's like, I don't even own a bike. I don't even own one. And then later he's like, sources? Me. And then there's this picture, and I'm like, all right, dude. All right, there it is. He's going to Arizona. Dan, hopefully you're able to find him out there. Grab a beer with him and ask him what the fuck he was thinking. I'd like to know. So I'd be really
Wait. I think I know why JJ picked the Cardinals. I don't know why I think about this. Wisconsin, red and white. Arizona, red and white. He wants to do that. That's why he went to Arizona.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep, that's it.
Nice. I like how Cardinals this year got JJ Watt, and the other Cardinals got Nolan Arenado. Fan-fucking-tastic. Real quick here before we go, because I skipped over this and I didn't mean to. Two things. One, Watson met with the Texans head coach David Culley and basically said, "No, I'm getting the fuck out of here. I don't give a fuck. I don't want to be here." So there's that. We'll keep an eye on that as we continue moving. But also, the Packers may use the franchise tag on Aaron Jones, and they also might be keeping Preston Smith. Pete, I'll let you close out the show here with your thoughts on the Green Bay Packers.
Well, both were shockers. I thought we were just going to let Aaron Jones just walk himself probably to Miami to get a payday. So a little surprised by Brian Gutekunst and his little announcement there. And then the whole Preston Smith yeah, I guess we must have liked that we're paying the dude. I don't know, maybe it's 12 or 13 million dollars for maybe 4 sacks. So you may, it's $3 million a sack. So I guess we like that production in Green Bay. So I guess that's fine. So I'm shocked by both of them. So, but hey, Aaron Jones is actually a really good football player, and if they do franchise tag him, I hope they do. That'd be cool. I just don't want to go long term. I think it's tough with running backs, especially to do that. But no, the Preston Smith thing I'm kind of shocked by because with the cap kind of going down, I thought he was going to be a cap casualty with that production.
100%. Kind of like Kyle Van Noy and some of the other players we heard about. BK mentioned Kyle Rudolph. A lot of them we're seeing cap casualties throughout the league because of that. So, yeah, it looks like the Packers going to tag Aaron Jones. Hope so. He's got some sweet glasses on the sidelines. That'd be pretty dope.
He does.
Yeah.
Swag.
Yeah, I love him. And then Preston Smith, I guess. There you go. If you want that production, you should have signed J.J. Watt. There you go. Very nice.
True.
Very nice.
$12 million a year, so I mean it's like not terribly far off.
I was gonna say it's right around it. There we go. Jesus Christ. As always, everybody, you can find the show on podcast platforms such as Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and more. Find us on Twitter and Instagram. It's at AmNationPod. Make sure you hit the follow button on both of those. On YouTube, search Amalgamation Nation and hit that sub button. For merch, teesprings.com/stores/amnation-undead Red Bull. You can find it below on podcast descriptions as well as our pinned tweet on Twitter. It's at AmNationPod. And it's also down below on twitch.tv/Undead Red Bull in David's description as well. Make sure you're following and subbing to Undead Red Bull on Twitch. If you have Amazon Prime, you get a free sub a month, so give it to Undead Red Bull. And if you want to interact with the show, whether it's the Weebisodes, the sports shows, the gaming shows, or anything else in between, leave a voicemail or text the show at 815-556-9089. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, be safe. Wear your mask, unless you're in Texas, apparently. I don't know what's going on over there. And as always, stay breezy.